Welcome to the deep dive. You've shared some really fascinating material with us, and today we're going to dig right in. We're looking at soul contracts, life purpose, spirit guides, trying to understand how it all fits together for you.
Exactly. These ideas, they aren't just abstract thoughts.
Yeah.
They can give a real framework for understanding, the deeper reasons behind things in your life.
And we're thrilled to have Sanjeev Malik here with us, an expert in past life regression, years of experience, written a book on it, brings a lot of insight.
Happy to be here and explore this.
Okay, so let's get started. If someone wants to explore their past lives, how does that actually work? Where do you begin?
Well, it's interesting. The memories, they aren't truly lost. It's more like they're deeply filed away,
Yeah,
in our consciousness. Accessible, but you need the right conditions.
filed away. Okay.
One way in is through something called astral travel. That's where your awareness kind of shifts,
Yeah.
gently moves beyond the physical body.
So like an out-of-body thing.
Sort of, yeah. It gives you a different perspective, lets you view past events, almost like stepping outside a room to see it better.
A shifting perspective that unlocks things.
That's one way, yes.
Yeah.
Another, perhaps more common method is entering a trance state, often through hypnosis.
Is hypnosis, right?
It helps quiet the everyday conscious mind, allows those deeper levels to surface. Think of it like layers. Your conscious mind is just the tip. Beneath that, you got the subconscious, then this collective subconscious pool of human experience, even universal subconscious, superconscious. These deeper levels hold those memories.
Wow, okay. Different folders, like you said. And when memories do start coming up, is there a pattern, an order?
Interestingly, yeah, it often unfolds in reverse, chronologically backward.
Backwards. Really, yeah.
You might first get recent things, then childhood stuff,
Yeah.
and then maybe glimpses from before this life even started.
Huh. Not what I would have guessed. Starting now and going back.
It's a common way it happens.
Yeah.
And what's really key here is emotion. Emotions are like tags on memories,
Yeah.
powerful ones. Moments with strong feelings, joy, fear, love, whatever they were called, much more easily. Think about your most vivid memories versus, just Tuesday.
Right. That makes perfect sense. The emotional punch makes them stick. Now, you mentioned trying this yourself. Like, before sleep, can you actually do that?
You can certainly set an intention. Before sleep can be a gentle starting point.
Yeah.
Just stating you're open to exploring your past. Maybe even just this life to begin with. Right. Kind of planting a seed in your subconscious. It might not bring instant detailed recall, like remembering what socks you wore last week.
Yeah, unlikely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mundane details are harder. But it signals you're willing to explore those deeper parts.
Okay, so it's about opening that door. Now, if you do access a past life, what's usually the first thing people encounter?
Often when you go into a previous lifetime, the very first memory that surfaces, it's the experience of the last death in that life.
The last death. Wow, that sounds intense.
It can be, yes. It marks that transition point.
Yeah.
But it's important to see it as a natural part of the soul's ongoing journey.
Right.
But what's really useful, I think, is that we don't have to stick to that reverse timeline rigidly. If you're struggling with something specific, now a fear, a relationship pattern,
Yeah.
a guide can help you sort of issue a command, a focused request to your subconscious, asking it to show the past event that's the root of that current pattern.
So, like doing a search in the archive, not just browsing, looking for the origin of this problem.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Your subconscious is incredibly organized. We can go chronologically, sure, or we can go straight to the relevant file for a present-day issue.
Okay, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
But this makes me wonder, and I bet you listening are thinking this too, how does any of this connect with, science? It feels quite different.
That's a really fair question, and an important one. The connection isn't about, lab coats and test tubes in the traditional sense. It's more about understanding the why. Why this life? Why these circumstances? Why born here to this family? Why these challenges? Why are you drawn to certain people, maybe repelled by others? These deep questions often kickstart that spiritual search.
The big why me question.
Exactly. And things like deja vu, that uncanny feeling you've been somewhere before, done something before.
Oh yeah, everyone gets that sometimes.
Or those instant connections or even repulsions towards people you've just met. Those could be maybe subtle echoes from past lives.
Those feelings you just can't explain logically.
Precisely. And, Dr. Raymond Moody, who researched near-death experiences and past lives quite extensively, he pointed to out-of-body experiences, OBEs
Yeah.
as particularly compelling.
Out-of-body experiences, how do they link up?
Well, Dr. Moody documented cases where people, clinically dead, reported watching things happen around their body, even elsewhere. He shared this one story, an experiment, where someone having an OBE correctly saw a number on a hidden visiting card. Things like that suggest consciousness isn't just stuck in the brain, you know?
That definitely gives you pause.
It does. And there's a website, obe.org, with loads of firsthand accounts from people all over the world. Personally, when I was younger, I had this distinct feeling of floating above my body, looking down.
Really? You experienced that?
Yes. It was profound. Really shifted my perspective. And I've also had moments of instantly recognizing places, like a specific Gurdwara in India. Details I just shouldn't have known. It feels like remembering. Adds another layer, doesn't it?
Those personal experiences.
Yeah.
They make it feel more real. Now, we talked about the reverse recall earlier. Is that always how you start when guiding someone?
Well, going back chronologically, often starting with that last death, it's a common path, yes. But we can also target the roots of current issues more directly.
Right, the targeted search.
Exactly. So instead of just a general look back, I might guide someone to, say, when they were younger, maybe around 20, to explore feelings and events connected to what they're facing now. It's about finding the source.
That seems much more direct for tackling current problems.
Right.
Okay, but what if? What if someone's exploring and they hit a wall? They sense things, but can't grasp something important like how they died.
Yes. That happens quite often, actually. And it usually means that the memory being blocked is tied to some pretty significant pain or trauma.
Okay.
It's almost like there's a protective mechanism put there by the universe, maybe, or our higher self. It stops us being overwhelmed by that past pain until we're actually ready to deal with it. Reliving some things can be incredibly intense.
Like a spiritual safety switch.
You could put it like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I worked with someone once. Recurring lung issues, always feeling like they were drowning. No medical reason.
Wow.
Through regression, we found a past life. They had tragically drowned themselves out of deep sorrow. When that memory surfaced, the distress was immense, reliving the suffocation. Very intense. And that's when their spirit guide stepped in.
Spirit guides. Okay, let's unpack that. Who or what are they exactly?
Spirit guides.
Yeah.
They're essentially benevolent guardians, caretakers maybe. They accompany our soul across many lifetimes.
Like mentors.
Wise mentors, loving protectors. That's a good way to think of it. They offer guidance on our soul's path and, gently nudge us back if we stray too far off course. They are higher souls themselves.
Higher soul. So experienced guides for our journey.
That's a helpful way to see it. Many traditions talk about them. For some, they might appear as figures like Lord Shiva or Vishnu. In one of my past lives, my guide was Guru Nanak Dev Ji. This life is Sri Paramhans Gurudev Ji.
Okay.
Others might connect with figures like Swami Vivekananda, Sai Baba.
Yeah.
Countless examples. Their main job is helping us fulfill our soul's purpose. They can intervene if they see us going way off track.
And in that drowning example, who was the guide who intervened?
In that specific case, it was Lord Ganesha who appeared. Even though the person chose to end that past life, the guide wasn't judgmental. Instead, the message was about how precious human birth is and the deep impact of suicide. It shows how guides offer compassion, direction, even with free will, especially when our choices really affect our soul's growth.
That's powerful. How long does a guide usually stick around? Is it just one life or?
Oh, it varies. Depends on the soul's journey. It's the level of awakening, you could say. One guide might stay for several lifetimes, maybe 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
But as the soul evolves, learns more, the guides can change too.
Yeah.
Like getting more advanced teachers as you progress in school, right? There's a kind of data transfer. Wisdom passed along as the soul grows.
So it's dynamic, always evolving, which leads us naturally, I guess, to soul contracts. What are they?
Soul contracts, right? They're basically agreements made between your soul and your guides before you're born into a lifetime.
Agreements, like a plan.
Think of it like a pre-agreed curriculum for learning, for growth. It outlines the kinds of experiences you're meant to encounter, the lessons you're meant to learn, a personalized development plan for the soul. Yeah.
Okay, but if we have these contracts, why do so many of us feel kind of lost sometimes? Like we don't have a purpose?
That's a great question. The contract is like a blueprint, you see. Not a detailed instruction manual you consciously remember. Life itself, the challenges, the opportunities, those are the tests. The pathways designed to help you fulfill the contract's intentions.
So life's difficulties, they aren't random hits. They're part of this plan for growth.
Often, yes.
Yeah.
Very often. Say your contract involves learning compassion, improving relationships. Then maybe in this life you find yourself in really difficult relationships.
Yeah.
Those difficult dynamics might echo things you did or failed to learn in past lives. The difficulty is the opportunity for growth, the one outlined in your soul's agreement.
And after a life ends, is there like a review related to the contract?
Yes, definitely. After death, there's a life review. Your soul, with your guides, sometimes higher beings too. You undertake this loving, comprehensive look back.
Loving, not judgmental.
No, not punitive judgment. It's about learning, understanding your progress against your soul contract.
Yeah.
My own experience of it was just profound love and understanding.
What was that like?
I remember seeing this instance in a past life where I wasn't as kind as I could have been. During the review, it was just gently shown to me. And the need for more compassion was kind of integrated into my contract for future lives. It's about seeing where growth is needed, setting intentions.
Yeah.
And those recurring challenges you might be facing right now, listening to this, they could very well be signposts, pointing to aspects of your soul contract being tested right now.
So the patterns that keep showing up, they're clues to what our soul needs to work on. How can we start spotting those in our own lives?
Self-reflection is key.
Yeah.
Really pay attention. What themes keep popping up, what challenges repeat in relationships, work, just life. Things that come easily to you. That might reflect positive past actions, maybe contracts fulfilled, but the persistent struggles, the lack of something you yearn for, good relationships, money, peace, that could point to past imbalances your current contract aims to fix. Addressing those lacks is often a huge part of the journey now.
So the hardest stuff might hold the biggest lessons.
Often, yes. And how we react is crucial. That brings in the ego, right? Your personality isn't the contract itself. It's how your ego responds to life situations. That reveals the lessons, the patterns you need to shift. It ties back to karma, responsibility for your actions.
Our reactions matter more than just who we think we are.
Got it. Now, the material mentioned lower versus higher souls. How does that fit in?
Yes. That's tricky. Maybe not the most helpful way to categorize, honestly. Every soul's journey is unique. Everyone has that inner light, that potential for growth.
So it's not a ranking system. No, past life regression isn't about putting souls on a ladder. It's about self-awareness, becoming a better version of yourself, more compassionate, more evolved. That personal growth, overcoming your stuff, that's fulfilling your contract, regardless of any label.
It's about the journey, not the label. Can you give some examples how this soul evolution and purpose might look in different lives?
Sure. I remember hearing about a child, incredibly bright, born into really tough circumstances. That could be a soul choosing that difficulty, maybe to learn resilience or bring gifts where they're needed most, or take someone well-known, like Virat Kohli. Exploring potential past lives recently suggested some interesting themes. One life, maybe a spiritual scholar spreading knowledge, another a supportive king promoting sports, another a warrior standing up for his people, for justice.
So recurring themes.
Yeah, themes like popularity, supporting good things, standing for truth, determination. They seem to echo, don't they? Often, that kind of major popularity now suggests a soul with significant past sacrifices, strong choices.
Fascinating how themes carry over. What about someone like, say, Modi? The material hinted at past spiritual practice.
It's certainly plausible. People with great influence often have dedicated past lives to spiritual work. But delving into specifics for prominent figures, well, it requires care, often permission from their guides even. Some info is private.
Right, needs respect.
Generally, though, finding your own purpose, it involves looking honestly at your shortcomings and actively working on them.
So again, focus on ourselves. Any other examples of everyday life purposes?
Oh, loads. For some, it's acquiring and sharing knowledge, kind of like my path, I feel. For others, serving specific groups, animals, kids. I recall a couple teachers in a past life, but harsh with students. This life, fertility issues. Their purpose became clear. Become amazing caregivers, teachers. They started a nonprofit for kids.
Wow, turning it around.
Exactly. Or someone involved in exploiting others in the sex trade. Past life, this life. Deep fear of women, bad headaches, their purpose now. Empowering women, helping survivors. A hunter who harmed animals might get skin problems now. Purpose becomes advocating for animals, seeking soul-level forgiveness. The key is seeing the patterns and taking responsibility for your own improvement.
These examples really show how past actions can shape present purpose so clearly. Okay, one last thing. Dreams. Can past lives show up in dreams?
Yes, absolutely they can. Dreams are partly the subconscious sorting things out, processing the day's overload of information.
Right.
While lots of dreams are just random or about recent stuff or worries, especially for people who are more intuitive or meditate regularly. Past life memories, even solutions to current problems, can definitely bubble up in dreams sometimes. It's another communication channel from our deeper selves.
So this has been a really deep exploration. Soul contracts, life purpose, guides. Understanding these can really shift how you see yourself, can it?
It really can offer profound self-awareness.
So, for you listening, what themes keep showing up in your life? What challenges resonate? Could they be hints, clues to your own soul's journey?
Definitely a question worth sitting with.
Sanjeev Malik, thank you so much. This has been incredibly insightful, really thought-provoking.
My pleasure entirely.
And for all of you tuning in, we hope you'll reflect on this. Feel free to share any thoughts on your own life purpose in the comments. Join us next time for another deep dive right here.